And hello and welcome everybody. Randy Replay back. Oh, my apologizings. Randy Replay. Okay, I'll be serious. Randy Replay back at it again. Your Minnesota Vikings at the end of the 2022-2023 campaign are 10-7, just putting down the Bears. We do have a Bear down, confirmed. 60-27 to cap off an NFC North winning season. And we, for all intents and purposes right now, have the number 2 seed. If the playoffs were to start, we'd be facing the Carolina Panthers. Apparently not at home. Okay, so it's good to know. So that is what the playoffs look like. Minnesota, we'll go through weekly awards. We've had a bunch of them this year. Starting with week number 1, a couple of the teams that we follow got in. Trevor Lawrence, or a couple players from the teams that we follow. Trevor Lawrence will grab the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. 7 passing touchdowns, 2 picks, only took 1 sack. And then AJ Terrell, 2 picks, 1 pick, 6. Their NFC Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. Davis Gaither and Ryan Tannehill will grab the AFC. Week number 2, Dak Prescott will get the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. And his former teammate, Trayvon Diggs, will get a 3-pick, 1 pick, 6 performance there. And, oh boy, you love to see that. Joe Burrow and James Jr. will get the AFC mentions. Tom Brady took over, as you can see, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Cole Holcomb, 10 tackles and 2 picks against the Minnesota Vikings, I do believe, week 3. Or no, we played the Lions week 3. My apologizings. Russell Wilson, Kyle Duggar, AFC. Week 4, NFC, Matthew Stafford, Tyrann Mathieu, NFC. AFC, Josh Allen and Terrell Edmonds. Couple Bills getting in there. We got Deebo Samuel from the 49ers, a team that we follow. 7 catches, 112. 3 touchdowns and a fumble. Oh boy. Also had 1 rushing touchdown. Good to note there. And then the AFC featured 2 players from the Ravens, team that we follow. 12 catches, 378, 3 touch. You know, I don't know if I like this. We'll figure it out. We'll edit it. Not tonight. It just doesn't make any sense with the new season dropping tomorrow. I think there's downtime, isn't there? What's up, Spirit? All right, 3, 2, 1. And then Devontae Adams, 12 catches, 378, 3 touchdowns, grabbing the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. And then Roquan Smith, 15 tackles, 1 pick, grabbing the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. We'll just kind of get through here. Nick Bosa, week number 6, NFC Defensive Player of the Week, 6 sacks, 1 forced fumble. DK Metcalf, you'll see a lot of him in this list. 18 catches, 397, 6 touchdowns. It's a feed job over there in Kansas City. Week number 7, we got Patrick Mahomes, 21-34, 6 passing touchdowns, 1 pick. And Sauce Gardner of the Kansas City Chiefs, AFC Defensive Player of the Week, 6 tackles, 4 picks, 1 touchdown. There. Marshawn Lattimore, 10 tackles, 3 picks in week number 8. NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and then AFC Defensive Player of the Week, Mr. Fuller will get 2 picks, 2 touchdowns in that one. Week number 9 sees Devontae Adams, 13 catches, 450, 5 touchdowns, and Jair Alexander traded away from the Packers. You love to see it. Maybe part of the reason why they're second worst team in the league now, that being the Packers. 7 tackles, 2 picks, 1 forced fumble, or 1 fumble recovered rather, in that one. Week number 10, it's all Minnesota on the NFC side. Dalvin Cook, 35 carries, 302. At the time, we thought it set the NFL single game rushing record. It did not. And then Trayvon Diggs, 11 tackles, 2 picks. And of course, DK Metcalf again. I told you you'd see a lot of him. 15 catches, 596, 5 touchdowns. There we go to week 11. And it's JJ. 10 catches, 298, 5 touchdowns in that one. And then Carlton Davis, 10 tackles, 1 sack, 2 picks, 1 pick 6. So Carlton Davis having the best week of his season in week 11. We go to week 12. It's Desmond Ridder, 50 for 75, 616 passing yards, 8 passing touchdowns, and 4 rushing touchdowns. Oh my heavens. 12 total touchdowns for Desmond Ridder in week number 12. It's the 12-12 deal. And then week 13, JJ, 10 catches, 289, 2 touchdowns, and Devontae Adams on the AFC side, 8 catches, 320. Saying, hey, JJ, I can do it better with 2 less catches and 4 touchdowns in that one as well. So going back and forth here for player of the week are JJ and Devontae Adams. JJ and DA. And then week 14, we got DK Metcalf. I told you he'd be in here a lot. 9 catches, 290, 3 touchdowns. And then Roquan Smith, 20 tackles, 2 sacks. Oh, boy. Week 15 saw JJ return to the spotlight in the NFC side of things. 11 catches, 246. 3 receiving touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns off those pesky end rounds there for JJ. And then Danielle Hunter with his best game of the year. 5 tackles, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble. Very nice. Roquan Smith, AFC Defensive Player of the Week, 11 tackles, 1 sack, 2 picks. And then last week against the Packers, Trayvon Diggs, 4 picks, 9 tackles. Oh, Nelly. What a season for Trayvon. Devontae Adams, AFC Player of the Week. Excuse me, on offense, 13 catches, 525, and 5 touchdowns. Last week, rather, against the Packers. My apologies. Week 18 has not been imported yet, as all the games are not done. Oh boy. Kirk Cousins, 30 for 41, 405, 5 touchdowns, 1 sack. And DK, I told you, 15 catches, 602, and 7. Count them, 7 touchdowns. Oh boy. So that will do it for the players of the week that the Minnesota Vikings have. We'll take a look at the injury report. And for the playoffs, not missing any big players. We do have Eric Kendricks out for the year. We knew about that one. If you've been following the season, KJ Osborne, we'll get him back for playoff time off that foot fracture injury. And then Trayvon Diggs and Danielle Hunter not being kept out any specific length of times. So for your Minnesota Vikings, rated by the NFL, 88 offense, 85 defense, 86 overall. I can't show that. Okay. Yeah, this is weird to do. Okay, got it. 3, 2, 1. So for your Minnesota Vikings, this is rated by the NFL. 88 offense, 85 defense, 86 overall. 10-7 as you see. Kings of the North this season. We still have one more game because the league week has not ended yet. So I do believe the Packers were up over the Lions at the half, but the Lions can't catch us, so Minnesota clinches the NFC North here this year. Cut it there. Now we'll go to stats. Oops. 3, 2, 1. And now Randy Replay's favorite time of the bye week extravaganza and now the end of year extravaganza. It's time to go in and look at the stats for the Minnesota Vikings. Throughout the regular season, Kirk Cousins, 7,523 yards he will end with. Top 3 in the NFL. He was 584 of 868. That is 67% completion percentage for those of you that did not know how to do math or simply didn't look over here. 61 touchdowns, with which I do believe is a franchise record, and 52 picks, which I know is a franchise record. Average yards per game, 442. QB rating of 92.7 is graded by the NFL. Yards per attempt, just under 8.8 at 8.7. Longest pass, 89. You got to believe that went to JJ, and he was sacked 60 times this year. Got to believe that that will be a focal point of the draft, is that offensive line, maybe even free agency. Played in all 17 games, 1,500 downs played. Excuse me. The other downs went to this man, Andrew Anthony Gordon. 495 yards. He was 35 of 64 touchdowns, 3 picks. Therefore, Anthony Gordon. Dalvin Cook surpasses 500 carries on the year. He is the number 1 running back entering play this week in terms of yardage. So 504 carries, 2,323 yards, just under 5 yards a carry at 4.6. 21 touchdowns, 4 fumbles, though. Oh, boy. And 79 broken tackles. And 861 yards after contact. And longest run of 75. Cordero Patterson, 170 totes off of this two-headed running back core. 349 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ty Chandler got in the mix a little bit, the rookie. 14 carries, 49 yards. Kirk Cousins, 22 of 46, 3 rushing touchdowns. 3 touchdowns for Cordero Patterson as well. 1 fumble for him. Cousins had 12 fumbles from the quarterback position. Ty Chandler, 14 for 49. Kirk Cousins, 22 of 46. 11 carries for JJ, 44 yards. Anthony Gordon, 7 for 38. CJ Ham, 4 for 8. He had 1 broken tackle. KJ Osborne out of the pesky end around, 2 for 4, had a fumble. Maybe that's why they never went back to him. He was also injured some of the year. Another guy that was injured a majority of the year, Justin Jefferson. Injured for, I do want to say, 4 or 5 weeks. He turned out to be the not the league leader, but the team leader in terms of yardage. After all, Adam Thielen really benefited from that. He is the team's catch leader, but for JJ, it's 153, 2,764 yards. My heavens, 26 touchdowns. Bleh. Setting a franchise record in all of those categories, I want to say. There's the 89-yarder from Cousins. All right, so sat out 4 games. I do apologize. It is 4 games, including the one here today. Adam Thielen, 160 for 2,034 and 15 touchdowns. The run after catch. Now, this is something that the Minnesota Vikings were scrutinized for early in the year, but we have over 1,200 in rack yards within the first 2 wide receivers. So Minnesota, 2 wide receivers over 100 yards and over 100 catches and 2,000 yards. My heavens, we almost had 3 wide receivers with over 100 catches, but KJ Osborne went down late in the year. 80 catches, 994 for him, 9 touchdowns, solidifying that number 3 spot when he comes back. And then TJ Hawkinson had a pretty good year out of the tight end spot. 61 catches, 732, 4 touchdowns for him. Cordero Patterson, much more productive year out of the wide receiver spot than the running back spot. 39 catches, 374 and a touchdown. Dalvin Cook out of the backfield, 54 catches, 302, 3 touchdowns. Tyler Johnson. It really came on when KJ Osborne went down as a really big piece. Now we're gonna talk about his drops because he had a bunch. But talk about a number 4 wide receiver on a team that he grew up watching, obviously from Minnesota College, Minnesota Gophers, I mean. You love to see it. 24 catches, 287, and a touchdown. Now, I don't think it's going to show drops, but they were an issue earlier. He was kind of held out of games, and then he came back once JJ went down. He was kind of thrust into that 3rd spot, and he definitely produced. Even after Adam Thielen went down with an injury, for one game, he produced there as well. So CJ Ham, sorry, I digress. CJ Ham, 17 catches, 123 touchdowns there. Jelani Woods, who came over in this mid-season by way of trade, I do believe, with the Colts. The big 6'7" tight end, he had 6 catches for 85 yards. Colin Johnson, 5 catches, 47 yards. Really lost in the scrum with all the production from the wide receiver spot. Oh boy. Johnny Munt, 3 catches, 32 yards and a touchdown. And then Ty Chandler, 3 for 8 out of the backfield. Let's do it again. Nobody. And we nobody cares about blocking. Gonna go to defense and look at total tackles. And my heavens, the Minnesota Vikings, Jordan Hicks. 213. I do believe that is good for number 2 in the NFL. It is right behind Roquan Smith. He was kind of trailing him the whole season. Roquan just kind of turned on the Jets here, no pun intended, and really ran away with the number 1 tackle spot. And we'll get into those league leaders later. But for right now, it's all about Minnesota Vikings football. Jordan Hicks, 213 tackles. Javon Holland, 177. Trayvon Diggs, 121. Jalen Johnson, 118. Carlton Davis, 104. Lewis Seen, 102. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 members of the Minnesota Vikings with over 100 total tackles. We can look at solos, but the numbers aren't as good. And that is what the NFL measures as a measurable either way. So there you have it. Brian Asamoah, the rookie, after Eric Hendricks went down, he was thrusted into the starting role of that second middle linebacker, and he has had a very, very productive season, beating out Troy Dye for that spot, by the way. Troy Dye, one of Randy Replay's favorite linebackers. And Brian Asamoah, 93 tackles on the season. Daniil Hunter, 67. Oh, look. Taylor Rapp, who joined the team late due to trade, 67 as well. Zadarius Smith with 61. Troy Dye, there he is, 55. Cameron Bynum, 51. DJ Wanham, 44. Harrison Phillips, 37. Davlin Tomlinson, 33. Josh Metellus, 13. Cam Dantzler, 12. James Lynch, 11. And then there's Eric Hendricks. I do believe he only played in one game, so he went down after the first, or during the first game against the Packers, and we lose him for the season. So Eric Hendricks only got one game this season. And 10 tackles, that's not terrible. Kenny Wilkes with 5, Patrick Jones with 3, Jonathan Bullard and Sezi Otamawo each with 1. Tackles for loss, we had a ton. 30 of them going to Daniil Hunter off of that right end spot. You'll love to see it. Jordan Hicks, Zadarius Smith, DJ Wanham with 17 apiece. Javon Holland with 9. Brian Asamoah, Harrison Phillips, Dalvin Tomlinson with 8. James Lynch had 5. Diggs Johnson had 4. Troy Dye had 3. Davis and Seen had 2. Bynum, Metellus, Kendricks, and Wilkes each with 1. Sacks, it was kind of a down year for sacks for the Minnesota Vikings. Historically known for Daniil Hunter having double digits, he maintained that, but it was on the lower side. As you can see, Daniil Hunter 12.5, DJ Wanham with 8, Zadarius Smith with 7, Harrison Phillips and James Lynch with 2.5 apiece, Dalvin Tomlinson with 2, Troy Dye with 1.5, Asamoah with 1, Carlton Davis with 1, and then Wilkes and Rapp will split a half sack apiece. Interceptions, excuse me. Trayvon Diggs, NFL leading 26 picks on the year. Jalen Johnson came over by way of trade, I do believe, with the Bears. He got 9 on the year. Carlton Davis with 5, Taylor Rapp with 4, Javon Holland with 3. Everybody in the top 5 in picks. New members of the Minnesota Vikings here this season. Ouch. Jordan Hicks with 2, just got 1 last week against the Bears. Cam Bynum with 2 as well. Past deflections, we had a bunch. We'll only go over the top 3 or 4. Jalen Johnson with 15, Carlton Davis with 11, Lewis Seen with 4, Trayvon Diggs and Taylor Rapp with 3. Forced fumbles, we had a bunch this season. That was the identity of these linebackers and safeties. Heavy hitting, forcing these fumbles. Lewis seen like a guided missile with 8. Oh my gosh. He had 8. Javon Holland, Jordan Hicks, Brian Asamoah, Daniil Hunter, and Kenny Wilkes, each with 2. And then Jalen Johnson, Carlton Davis, Trayvon Diggs, Taylor Rapp, and Cam Bynum with 1. Fumble recoveries, we'll get into these details later, but Brian Asamoah with 3. Lewis Seen, Daniil Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Carlton Davis with 2. Holland, Hicks, Smith, Wanham, Phillips, Lynch, and Tomlinson, each with 1. I do believe we only had, no safeties? Okay. No block kicks, no safeties, and we did have some defensive touchdowns for the Minnesota Vikings. For Jalen Johnson, he scored 2. I do believe both were pick sixes. Javon Holland with 2. Lewis Seen, Taylor Rapp, Carlton Davis, and Trayvon Diggs, each with 1. Kicking, Greg Joseph had an up and down season. I mean, at one point he was talked about he was going to get released. The other point, there was a kicker signed to the practice squad. It lit a fire, and he never missed a field goal up until the end of the season there, which technically it was a point after, which isn't a field goal, but you get what I'm saying. 52 of 56, that is 92% field goal percentage for those of you that did not know how to do math. Longest kick of 64, which is a franchise record. Congratulations, Greg Joseph. Would have been an NFL record, but Justin Tucker kind of destroyed that. We'll go over records later as well. Extra points, 88 of 92, that is 95%. And his misses for field goals came within 49 to 50. The big majority right there. 50 plus. So 49 to 50 plus, some of those longer ones. Kickoffs, he was 170, and he had 127 touchbacks. My goodness. Punting, easy year for rookie Ryan Wright. 43 punts, 1,908. He netted 1,827. Averaged just under 45 yards per punt. 13 inside the 20. No touchbacks. So that is a big one. No touchbacks for Ryan Wright out of the punting game. He did have 1 fake punt, I do believe. I don't know why that says downs played. Either way, played in all 17 games. You love to see it. Cordero Patterson kind of took over the game here in terms of kick return. It was Kene Nwangwu, but we traded him for Cordero Patterson, and I do believe some picks were exchanged. 96 kick returns, 2,146 yards, longest of 37. Ty Chandler had 1 for 8. Jelani Woods 1 for 3, and Taylor Rapp 1 for 3, all over those, I do believe, onside kick attempts. Punt returns, Cordero Patterson 33 for 25, longest of 22. KJ Osborne 4 for 19, longest of 6. So there you have it. Stats for your Minnesota Vikings in terms of individual. Now we'll go team stats. For offense, the Minnesota Vikings were the 3rd total yards gained team with 13,030 total yards. Oh my heavens. 10,407 of those were on offense. Split up by 7,551 passing yards, and 2,856 running yards. Average points per game were 50. Passing touchdowns, 65. Rushing touchdowns, 29. 593 first downs. I do believe that is good for first in the NFL. Oh, my heavens. In terms of defense, Minnesota Vikings among the worst. They are the second-ranked defense. Worst-ranked defense, sorry. Who was the second ranked? The Texans. Weird. Giving up 10,044 yards. Oof. Ouch. That is 6,791 yards, 3,253 running yards. They have given up 838 points. They do have 38 QB sacks, 18 fumble recoveries, and 49 picks. I do believe that is also good enough for first in the NFL. So there you go. And of those 49 picks that the Minnesota Vikings have, 26 of them belong to Trayvon Diggs. Holy crap. Conversions. Let's take a look at conversion rates for the Minnesota Vikings. They are I don't know how you want to look at this. Do you want to do percentage. In terms of percentage, they are the fourth in the NFL with 55%. 174 to 314. Fourth down conversions, they were 16 for 20. That is 80%. So it went for it on fourth down 20 times in the regular season. Kind of didn't really feel like that much, but it is what it is. And then 4 for 9 on the 2-point conversions. Good enough for 44%. Red zone efficiency, we'll sort it by total trips. The Minnesota Vikings third in total trips with 131. Scoring 72 touchdowns and 14 field goals, giving them a 54% scoring points in the red zone percentage. And then for the defense, they let teams into the red zone 133 times, giving up 65 touchdowns and 21 field goals. Just under 50% of the time the team was in the red zone against this defense, they unfortunately scored. Penalties, the Minnesota Vikings were the least penalized team in the NFL with only 16 penalties with 134 yards. Worth noting, the number one seed in the NFC, the Cowboys, the most penalized, 105, almost 1,000 yards in penalties. My heavens, what a tax they have paid down there in excuse me, Dallas. The Minnesota Vikings, let's see where we are in the take give. We're positive. Yeah, we're positive. We're +2 in the take give. And the Minnesota Vikings defense has definitely bailed out the offense here. We're +2 in the take give. We are 67 takeaways, 55 interceptions, or giveaways rather. Kirk Cousins and Andrew Gordon throwing 55 interceptions. We've lost 12 fumbles. We have 69 takeaways. Nice. 49 defensive interceptions and 18 fumble recoveries. So there you go. +2 in the take give. The worst team in the take give is the 49ers at -60, in case you were wondering. As we take a look at the other teams we follow here in the take give, just because we want to fill some time, the Chiefs were +7. And I do believe the Ravens were near the top of the NFL. They're number 2 with +13. Oh boy. And so that'll do it for team stats. We'll take a look at league leading. We won't really spend too much time on this, as this is Minnesota Vikings focus, but it's good to know where we ranked. Kirk Cousins, number 3 quarterback overall, followed behind Patrick Mahomes. This is in terms of yardage, of course. Almost had 10,000 yards on the season. That is just... Oh boy. Trevor Lawrence, even 7,000 yards, 617. Kirk Cousins, 7,523. And then Desmond Ridder, 6,717. So the top teams that we follow, the teams that we follow top the league in terms of yardage for the quarterback. Touchdowns, it is Patrick Mahomes, number 1 in the NFL with 75. My goodness, Trevor Lawrence was 64, Kirk Cousins 61, Desmond Ridder 50. Dalvin Cook, the number 1 running back in terms of yardage. He will just etch out that win against Kenneth Walker by like 30 yards, I do believe. 21 touchdowns, not good enough for number 1 in the NFL. Actually, not really good for top 5. Actually, yeah, he is 5th, tied for 5th with McCaffrey and Mixon, but Kenneth Walker will take 24 touchdowns. JJ, number 3 wide receiver in the NFL. Devontae Adams eclipsed 4,000 yards, setting the single season wide receiving record. And then he's top 3 in the NFL in terms of catches as well. Adam Thielen taking home the league leading receptions leader, and JJ's number 2 with 153. My heavens, Adam Thielen still at 32 able to do it. Goodness gracious. DK Metcalf, we told you he'd be up there. 37 touchdowns through the air, 29 for Devontae and 26 for JJ. Let's do it for one final time. Nobody, and nobody. Cares about blocking. Going to go to defense and look at total tackles for the year, and it's Roquan Smith with 222. Jordan Hicks close behind him with 213. Fred Warner, I almost said Frank, with 181. Javon Holland with 177. And then Devondre Campbell from the Pukey Green Packers. There. Tackles for loss, 56 for Nick Bosa, good enough for number 1 in the NFL. 44 for Roquan Smith. 35 for Fred Warner. And then Alex Highsmith, 35. And I do believe the Minnesota Viking, you have to go kind of far down to see, but Jordan Hicks was 17. Oh boy. Sacks, we did not fare well against the rest of the NFL, not even in the top 10. Nick Bosa, 33. TJ Watt, 22. Von Miller, 22 as well. Aaron Donald, 20.5. Picks, y'all know what we did. Y'all seen it. 26 for Trayvon Diggs, 12 for Sauce Gardner. Marshawn Lattimore with 9. Jalen Johnson, number 4 with 9. And then Jair Alexander, 9 as well. Kirk Cousins helping out that number indeed. What other ones? Defensive touchdowns. Who led the league in defensive touchdowns? It was Jimmy Ward. Owosu Kamara. Taron Johnson. Justin Reed topping the NFL with 3. The best kicker in the NFL, that's going to be Justin Tucker. He did not miss a field goal. He's among one of many here with at least 30 attempts. Actually, not that many with above 30 attempts. So, Justin Tucker, Matt Prater, and then, of course, Jason Myers, each with 100%. You could throw Graham Gano, Riley Patterson, Mason Crosby in there, but we don't like those guys, so we will not. Greg Joseph, the number 2 kicker. Oh, that was extra point. Never mind. So field goal percentage. There we go. Justin Tucker still number 1. Nick Folk. He's the only one to do it with anybody more than 20 kicks. It's 96%. Some of the best in the NFL. Why did we go back? Can we go back, please? Let's look at punting real quick. Oh boy. We'll cut that. Don't worry about it. We'll cut that. All right, 3, 2, 1. So in terms of total punts, it's Mitch Wishnowski. 74 total punts in the NFL, good for number 1. 3,581 netting, 3,255. And it's Blake Gillikin, or Gillikin, however you want to say it, with 66. Matt Ariza with 63. Minnesota Vikings helped with, I do believe, 3 or 4 punts there. And then you got to go down a lot. There is Randy Replay's second favorite punter, Bradley Pinion. Can I get a Pinion with 55? Andy Lee, who has been passed around the NFL here. A couple kickers have been passed around. Do we have? There it is. Ryan Wright with 43. And then Logan Cook, 55. Trying to find some of the teams that we follow. Jordan Stout with 48. And we're looking for the Jack Fox variety, 37. So there you have it. Kick returns in terms of kick return yards. It's going to be Cordero Patterson, number 1 with 2,146 kick return yards. 96 kick returns. I do believe that is good enough for number 2 in the NFL. It is after Devin Duvernay. Let's see where the other teams rank here. Devin Duvernay, number 2 with 2013. I know these stats don't matter, but Turpin with 1,700 and Gray with 12. I need to kill time. So the top 4 teams that we follow topping the NFL in terms of that. League leader in touchdowns, there was a 17-way tie. Turpin will be listed first. We'll kind of go through here. And just the Chiefs of the teams that we follow had a kickoff return for a, touchdown. Punt returns, in terms of punt returns, it is Devin Duvernay with 65. That defense very good, forcing 65 punts against opponents. Turpin with 49, Patterson with 33. There's Ken Nwangwu, former Viking, and then DJ Reed with 21. League leader in terms of punt return yards, it is Devin Duvernay. And then we're back up to the top, so that is it. NFL records real quick before we get you out of here for the season. Patrick Mahomes has the pass yards almost at 9,100. That is insane. Trevor Lawrence, 7,617. And Kirk Cousins, 7,523. And then, of course, Desmond Ritter, 6,717. So Tom Brady's at one point insane. Oh, wait, that was not even it. Peyton Manning's at one point insane, 5,477 yards, has become a farce as a lot of people broke it this season. 8 quarterbacks have broken it this season. Of course, Patrick Mahomes being number one. Passing touchdowns, Patrick Mahomes in a single season, it is 75. Trevor Lawrence is up there with 64. Kirk Cousins with 61. And then Desmond Ritter this season, of course, joining late, but he's still got 50. What does that say about that guy? Desmond Ritter is that guy. That's a lot of people to break that record. Owie. So in terms of rushing yards, Adrian Peterson's 2012 performance caught a lot of flack from Packers fans. You're 4 yards short, duh. You're 4 yards short, duh. And Eric Dickerson's 1984 2,105 yards is a farce, as well as Dalvin Cook, fittingly a Minnesota Vikings member, will surpass it, as well as Kenneth Walker. There you go. Rushing touchdowns, it is a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, and Priest Holmes. I just assumed. So Priest Holmes with 27, that will stand. The closest one, Kenneth Walker with 24, just falling 3 short. Nick Chubb, who seems to be that guy this year, 23. Ezekiel Elliott with 22. Desmond Ritter, the quarterback. There's a quarterback here, 22 this season as well. Receiving yards, Devontae Adams sets the single season receiving yard record at 4,007. DK Metcalf, I told you he'd be up here a lot. 3,625. JJ's 2,764. Debo Samuel's 2,196. Cooper Kupp's 2,130. Adam Thielen's 2,034. All break Calvin Megatron Johnson's 1,964 record from 2012. Receiving touchdowns, DK, I told you he'd be up here a lot. Metcalf, 37. Devontae Adams, 29. Debo Samuel's 26. JJ's 26. Cooper Kupp's 24. All break Randy Moss's Patriots record from 2007 of 23. Catches, Adam Thielen sets the single season catching record for a wide receiver, beating out JJ, who sat out for a couple games, and Michael Thomas of the choke artist, the Aints, 149. Honorable mentions for breaking the record is Debo Samuel tying it. DK, I told you you'd be here a lot. Metcalf at 138. George Kittle at 138. Cooper Kupp, 137. Up there as well. So Adam Thielen, a part of NFL history, 160. All he does is catch third downs. Defensive sack, Nick Bosa sets the single season record. One that has stood from since 1984. Gastineau's record broken many, many moons later with 33. Defensive interceptions, it's Trayvon Diggs setting the single season interception record at 26. And Mr. Lane from the Rams, 1952 record has been indeed broken. Not only broken, but almost doubled up. Ow. And then we're back to the passing yards. So there you have it. We'll check out yearly awards prior to the playoff game next week, which should take place here at US Bank Stadium, pending any weirdness. And then right before we let you go here, we will take a look at the Minnesota Vikings road to 10-7. Here in the preseason, rather, I'm getting ahead of myself. We faced the Raiders, week number 1 of the preseason, lost by 4, 58-62. And then we played the 49ers in the preseason, won by 3, 44-41. And then, well, when you don't play any starters against the Denver Broncos and they keep the starters in until the fourth quarter, you figure out quickly what you have. And Minnesota Vikings took the biggest L of the season, 71-3. Oh boy. Oof, big loss. But we bounce back. We get a big win against the Green Bay Packers, a division rival, 58-52. And then we beat the Eagles by 1 point in a nail biter down to the wire. There's your dagger, whatever you want to call it. 39-38 in Philly amongst the scumbags. Then the Minnesota Vikings go on a 0-2 slide, rather, losing big to the Detroit Lions and the New Orleans Saints in London. So we are now 2-2. Minnesota Vikings beat the Bears. We have now effectively swept the Bears and the Packers this season. 49-42. Lose to the Dolphins prior to the bye week. And then we come out with a vengeance here, rattling off 3 in the fan appreciation game against the Cardinals. 50-44. We take care of the Commanders in our statement game of the year, 72-38. We get a 10-point win over the Bills. And then all good things must come to an end. So the 3-game win streak is broken. And we lose 3 big games at home to really seal up the deal for the number 1 seed. You need these 3 games right here at home, and we just didn't get it done. The Cowboys, we lost to 65-74. We lose the Turkey Day game, the Thanksgiving primetime game, 48-44 against the Patriots. And then we lose to the gosh darn Jets, 62-30. And the Minnesota Vikings really have fire under their ass as Kirk Cousins in this 3-game stretch has thrown, I want to say almost 12, 13, 14 interceptions. Coach says, hey, you're not our number 1 guy if you keep playing like this. We rattle off a nail biter against the Lions. We split with the Lions 62-60 for the season. Then we take a big L against the Colts. Kirk is under fire again. He comes out, he puts together a Christmas Eve miracle game against the Giants here with 5 touchdowns thrown and 1 pick as we take the last 3 of the year. 56-37 against the Giants, 54-41 against the Packers, and then 60-27 against the Bears. So big weeks there at the end of the year helped us get to 10-7. That is the road to 10-7 for your Minnesota Vikings. So now looking ahead, Minnesota, you have a playoff berth for the first time in a couple seasons. You're obviously in the wild card. What the seeding will depend on is completely out of your control. You did the best that you could. You got 10-7. As of now, you're the 2nd seed. You're NFC North champions. Overall, Minnesota Vikings, I give you an A- grade. Actually, I'm going to change it to a B+. There's definitely some things that could have went better. The defense affected that grade. I was going to go position by position, but that would take too long, and we are under some time constraints here this evening with local programming. So a B+ knocks on the defense and the offensive line mainly, but then Kirk Cousins picks and underthrows and overthrows and throwing behind guys and guys having to fully extend. The accuracy of Kirk Cousins, the pass blocking of the offensive line, and then the middle of the defense in zone coverage, not the greatest this season. So I score this season a B+. It's a playoff berth. That kind of wipes everything out, but you have to go out and win it. This has been Randy Replay. Once again, your 10-7 Minnesota Vikings playoff bound. Oh my goodness. I will see you in the next one.